Hey everyone, Zeolith here. So stats show that just about half of everyone in the United States sets weight loss as their New Year's goal every year, and based on the worsening health statistics basically every year I've been alive, I'd say it's safe to say most people fail at that goal. We all know people, I've been one myself, and if you're looking at this, maybe you're one of the many people who sets this goal every year. Maybe hops on the treadmill a little bit, drops 2 or 3 pounds through January, and then ends up quitting every year. But so I just thought I would demonstrate something that a lot of people don't know, or in the case of science deniers these days, flat out reject, which is that weight loss genuinely doesn't have to be a lengthy, boring, protracted process that takes years, or worse, you just end up quitting every year. And show how quickly weight loss can work, that you don't have to live in a gym or eat nothing but kale for months or anything like that to drop several pounds a week, every single week, starting whenever you choose. And that doesn't have to be January 1st, by the way. Kicking off spring with a weight loss regimen is a great idea when it starts to warm up a little outside and you can jog and walk, no gym membership required. So on the left here, you see me on January 4th of this year, 2019, 2 months and change ago, at 162 pounds, which 162 pounds at 5'8" put me at a BMI of 24.63, or just a few pounds from the official cutoff point for an overweight BMI of 25, which I tried to hit by the time I started this experiment, but couldn't quite make it in time. I got up from my normal weight to this point the good old-fashioned way by eating a ton of pasta and pizza and ice cream and Mexican food. Not that all Mexican food is fattening, but when you load it up with cheese and sour cream with half a pound of rice at a time and tortillas and chips on the side as I was doing, and doubling my breakfast portions. And on the right, you see me exactly 60 days later, March 4th, last week as I record this, at 138 pounds, BMI of 20.98. That's 24 pounds off in 60 days, so a rate of a pound every 2.5 days on the dot. I don't really plan on going any lower and may even gain a little back because I don't think any dude really needs a BMI under 21, but I could easily maintain that same 2 pounds in 5 days rate going forward for even longer if I wished to. I don't say all that to brag or anything, but just to demonstrate and to encourage anyone who's struggling by showing you how quickly this process can work. Both of you just need to lose 20 or 30 pounds, but yes, you can extrapolate that out across additional months or a year to show that even if you're very overweight, even if you're literally morbidly obese, that doesn't have to be a life sentence, and it doesn't have to be something that takes years and years to correct. You could theoretically lose literally 150 pounds in a single year if you apply the methods I'm about to model for you. So let's start by breaking down the numbers, because ultimately this is all a numbers game. What does losing 24 pounds mean broken down into the simple statistics of calories in and calories out? At a rate of a pound of weight loss being about 3,500 calories burned over calories consumed, that means I burned about 84,000 more calories than I consumed over 60 days, or a deficit that averages out to about 1,400 calories a day. And specifying the average is certainly important because there were days I had no deficit or even a surplus. We'll discuss the psychological importance of cheat days later on, but also days I ran a deficit of close to 3,000. The most powerful tool in your weight loss arsenal is your basal metabolic rate, or your BMR, which is to say the calories your body burns, keeping you alive, keeping your organs working, all that stuff. The calories you would burn in a day if you literally laid motionless in bed for 24 hours. Now this number decreases as your weight drops, so we will add my BMR at 162 pounds and at 138 pounds and divide by 2 to figure out the average of what I was working with every day over these 60 days. I'll link in the description of the site you can use to figure out your BMR for yourself. At 162 pounds at 5'8" and 33 years old for me, it was 1,656 calories a day, and at 138, it's now 1,547 a day, for an average of 1,601 calories a day. Let's just round to 1,600 for simplicity's sake. So the number of calories my body burned all by itself, without including even a lick of exercise or goddamn walking or anything, was 96,000 calories over 60 days. So you can do the math there and see that that right there is 12,000 more calories than the 84,000 I needed to burn all by itself. Now, of course, that's ignoring literally all food, and it's not like I starved myself or laid motionless in bed for 60 days. But this just goes to show that your basal metabolic rate is the most powerful weight loss tool there is. Now, I ate an average of about 1,100 calories a day spread over those 60 days. And we'll come back to dieting techniques in a bit. Hang on, we'll talk exercise first. So we'll say 66,000 calories total, which added to our current deficit of negative 12,000 calories, brings us to a total of 54,000 calories surplus, which is where exercise comes in. Eating about 1,100 calories a day, I would need to burn an additional 900 calories a day on top of my basal metabolic rate to hit the weight loss rate I was aiming for, which was actually pretty easy. Now keep in mind, your basal metabolic rate is your rate of calorie burn if you literally laid motionless in bed doing nothing for 24 hours. So the very basic acts of like getting up in the morning, moving around, walking around the house, working, walking the dog, going shopping, going to the store, pursuing hobbies you would do irregardless of trying to exercise, basically just not being a lump on a log. These things will burn hundreds of calories a day every day for everyone, unless you're literally Sloth from the movie Seven.
You got what you deserved.
So for a ballpark figure, let's just say that the basic moving around throughout the day, including a dog I walk several times a day, but not intentional exercise, burned 400 calories a day for me, so about 24,000 over 60 days. That knocks our 54,000 down to 30,000, which isn't much left if you consider that's over 60 days to get it all off. So, exercise. A commonly thrown out rule of thumb is that a mile jogged or walked, doesn't really matter which, is about 100 calories burned. I try to put in about 4 jogs of about 5 miles each a week, and I'm not an especially fast runner. So I go right around a mile every 10 minutes, even slower. We'll call a 5-mile jog an hour. So 4 hours a week of jogging, and that's 2,000 additional calories a week right there, getting our total deficit left down from 30,000 to 14,000. We're in the home stretch already. Now, 2 points about what I've just told you. One, if you're very overweight still and jogging is difficult on your lungs and legs, that's fine. As I said, the 100 calorie a mile standard applies equally for jogging and walking, and you could just walk a few miles a day at your own slower pace and the calories will carve away the same. If you could do 4 miles an hour and set aside an hour a day for walking, that's great. I mean, that's 2,800 calories a week right there, and that's not an insignificant amount. And 2, jogging is boring. And that's true, if you're doing it in silence, but that's where modern technology comes in. It doesn't have to be boring anymore. Literally 100% of my jogging is done while listening to podcasts and YouTube shows and the news and audiobooks on my phone with my earbuds. I'm never just listening to myself breathe while doing it. In that sense, it's useful time for me to catch up on my media intake. If anything, it would be difficult for me to keep up with all my podcasts and YouTube shows without those 4 or so hours a week set aside for listening time. Hell, if you downloaded a 50-hour audiobook and weren't doing anything on a Saturday or something, you could just walk and walk and walk for 8 or 10 hours around your town while listening and carve off 3,000 or 4,000 calories in a single day right there without even being bored. But back to me in the last 60 days. How to get another 14,000 calories or so off over 60 days in addition to my BMR, standard moving around and jogging. That's only about 230 calories a day or so no big deal really. I have this little mini elliptical, and hopping on it for about 15 minutes or so first thing in the morning is a great way to wake my ass up and burn a quick 50 calories or so. It's portable and can be plopped right in front of the TV, so I also sometimes hop on it for 30 minutes here or 45 minutes there if I'm watching TV shows that I like but aren't my absolute favorites where I'd rather be chilling on the couch. Like, I wouldn't use the elliptical while watching Game of Thrones or Cobra Kai, but it's perfect to hop on during, the Orville or Superstore. It can also be good during movies, like just the other week I was rewatching Lord of the Rings and just hopped on for a quick 30 minutes during one of the slower stretches. I never work that hard on it. I don't build up a sweat or anything. I'm all about working smarter, not harder. But in total doing this, I might burn an additional, let's say, 150 calories a day, just in little slices here and there. Again, never while being bored or not watching something I wouldn't otherwise be watching while sitting on the couch anyway. So 9,000 calories over 60 days, and our surplus is now down to 5,000, a piddling average of about 83 calories a day. what I could theoretically burn by going outside and putting in a good hard sprint for a few minutes. But for the last 5,000 or so, I put in some perhaps less fun exercises. I try to do at least 1 or 2 a day of, I have a kind of calisthenics set of jumping jacks and power jacks and burpees and planks and high knees jogging I do. Lifting weights, of course. I never use much more than about 15-pound dumbbells because I'm not really looking to get ripped here. And sit-ups. Sit-ups are probably my least favorite thing I do regularly, but 3 or 4 times a week I'll just try to bang out a quick set of 250 or so, quick as I can, just get through it, it's no big deal, even though I'm admittedly not a big fan. And that gets us where we need to be. BMR, basic living, jogging, elliptical, and some additional exercises. Now, swinging back around to dieting, as I said, I averaged about 1,100 calories a day, or about 7,700 calories a week during this weight loss stretch. Usually for me this was doled out in the form of about 3,000 calorie cheat day a week because I'm a big believer in taking a day to eat your favorite foods to prevent food mania. And an average of about 800 calories a day the other 6 days of the week. Again, probably divided further into some days of more like 1,000 calories and others of more like 500 or 600 calories. Intermittent fasting is a powerful tool for weight loss, just letting your body do its thing for 12 or 16 hours without needing to constantly eat. Unless you work a very physical job or have very physical hobbies you do every day like rock climbing or mountain biking or ultimate frisbee, it's unlikely you really need 3 full-size meals a day every day. 2 is usually fine. Try not to drink your calories, stuff like juice and non-diet soda and alcohol, and especially this is for all you suburban white girls out there, 600 or 800 calorie coffees, aka coffee flavored liquid candy from Starbucks. That stuff is nutritionally useless. Drink water, coffee, unsweetened tea, 0 calorie soda, which as you can see I keep and drink plenty of. I keep stevia on hand to put on my coffee in the morning. It's nearly identical to sugar taste-wise once it's in the coffee, but with 0 calories. I recommend it, and I even do this when I'm not in the process of losing weight. What I usually did for breakfast was about 1.5 cups of cereal. Cornflakes and Cheerios are my favorite. Just measure it out with a measuring cup and a bowl. My food guilty pleasure is whole milk, so I put 1/2 cup or even a little less in with the cereal in the morning, mixed with ultra low calorie almond milk. So the flavor of the whole milk diffuses through the almond milk, so it's kind of the best of both worlds. Then I usually had some fruit, usually an apple or a banana or some grapefruit, or if it was in season, peach, but sadly no peaches in winter really, or a Dannon Light and Fit Greek yogurt. It's about, I think, 80 calories, 11 grams of protein, then coffee. So this comes out to a breakfast of about 350 to 375 calories or so. Then I just let my body burn through that during the day and usually didn't eat another bite of food until dinner. Although, just in case I have a snack attack, one great thing to have on hand is nearly naked air-popped popcorn. A couple handfuls of this stuff tastes good, pushes away the food cravings, and can literally come out to as little as 20 to 30 calories. I also drink water all day. The simple feeling of a full stomach this gives you massively blunts day hunger, I find. I also do this even when not losing weight just because it's good for you. So for dinner, I keep a ton of rotisserie chickens from Sam's Club or Costco on hand. Whether losing weight or not, they're huge from Sam's Club and Costco. They cost $5 and one bird can last me a week without breaking a sweat. Sometimes 10 days of eating on it every day. So weight loss can also save you a crap load of money too. At least 1, sometimes 2 nights a week, I'll just lift some weights real quick and then just have a few bites of cold chicken off the bird and a protein shake for dinner and call it good. These Orgain clean protein shakes are pretty good. Doing that, I can bring a whole day in at 550, 600 calories, no problem. But of course, you don't want every day to be that lean or you'd go crazy. My standard dinner those 60 nights was rotisserie chicken, dressed up one way or another. I keep a lot of rice on hand and will sometimes combine chicken with it in various ways. A piece of chicken breast or a shredded chicken mixed with white rice, minced garlic, rosemary, garlic powder for a 400, 500 calorie bowl is a very tasty and filling dinner. And if you're going to use rice, measure it out carefully because the calories in rice can add up. But the calories of simple spices, on the other hand, are generally non-existent. I put a crap load of garlic powder in virtually every dinner I eat. Some other good ways to prepare the chicken are a kind of simple Italian style with some ragu sauce and Italian seasonings and Parmesan and a small, and I do mean small, calories add up, swirl of spaghetti on the side, and of course my favorite, Mexican style. I would put a smear of Rosarita refried beans, just a spoonful or two, 50-60 calories, no more than that, and a tablespoon of queso mixed with it on a plate. Heat that up, then heat some chicken up with some taco seasoning mix, garlic powder, cumin, pepper, hot sauce. Put that on top of the bean queso mix, and a tablespoon of sour cream, some more pepper, and some more hot sauce. That's a favorite of mine. And there are other ways I would make the rotisserie chicken too. Some of the smaller shredded bits from the side and bottom of the bird, I just toss in a pot with some standard Campbell's chicken noodle soup, heat that up. Sometimes with the drumsticks, I just tear them off, heat them up, and eat them in no special way. Sometimes I would do that with the protein shake I mentioned before. Basically, the one non-chicken dinner I would do during this weight loss process, except for the cheat days that we'll discuss in a second, was scrambled eggs. You know what scrambled eggs are, right? 4 scrambled eggs, 300 and change calorie dinner, very simple. Now, as I mentioned before, I did about one 3,000 calorie cheat day a week, in addition to about 800 average the other 6 days a week. I do the same thing until dinner, those cheat nights, 350-ish calorie breakfast and nothing else generally, and then just pig out to the tune of 2,500, 2,700 calories that evening, which includes literally anything I want. I did a large meat lovers pizza one week, a huge pot of spaghetti loaded up with cheese and butter and garlic bread on the side another week. Tons of Mexican food. I love making cream cheese stuffed bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers, Taco Bell, burgers, cherry pie, ice cream. The sky's the limit for a couple of good solid hours of pigging out. For me, the psychological benefit of having one big cheat night like that a week helps keep me sane and focused the other 6.5 days a week. So I'd never say don't do a cheat night, just make it a weekly thing, not a daily thing, or none of this will work. So yeah, I wish I had a grand thesis statement to wrap this up, but I don't really. I just wanted to demonstrate that if you apply the right techniques and principles, this whole weight loss thing can be a quick and efficient process. I've done 24 pounds in 60 days, but using these same techniques, you could also do 36 pounds in 90 days, 48 pounds in 120 days, over 70 pounds in 6 months, especially if you're younger and have a faster metabolism than my elderly, decrepit 30-something ass. Just watch what you eat. Don't eat any more meals than you need to. Watch your snacking. Watch your sugar and carb intake. Don't eat a lot of bread or chips or anything like that. Eat a lot of simple protein. I like chicken, but fish is good for you too. Substitute in things like 0-calorie drinks and soda, sugar substitutes, almond milk, etc. Try to do intermittent fasting. Don't eat out of habit, only to fulfill nutritional needs unless it's a specifically pre-planned cheat night. Small breakfast. Don't start your day by pigging out. Jog or walk as much as possible. Like I said, I do about 4 days a week, but if you can do daily, even better. Try to set aside a few minutes a day for some simple jumping jacks, weightlifting, sit-ups, etc. Exercise is probably less important than a diet and letting your basal metabolic rate do the work. But if you can burn even an additional few thousand calories a week through this stuff, that'll put you a pound closer to your goal every week, which, even if you're starting from a place of very overweight, over a year, that could be 50 pounds closer to your goal. That's not a small amount. Just remember to let your body and your basal metabolic rate do the work. It's good at it. It's built for it. Best of luck to you, and feel free to leave a comment or message me if you have any further questions. Always happy to help. Later.